Hi, today we're in the garden and we're going to be making use of some extra space I have. It's June, so the heat is hit. That means the lettuce is done even if the rabbits hadn't killed it all off. And the spinach is done also. So we're going to have a little bit of extra real estate in the garden beds, and rather than just let it sit there the rest of the summer, we're going to make use of it. What are we going to do with it? Well, about 3 weeks ago I took the core of a bell pepper from the kitchen when we were making dinner, and I planted it in this pot. I just threw some dirt in it and let it sit there, and we have this nice sprouts. There must be 50 green bell pepper plants that popped up, and we're going to stick as many as we can in the garden and see if we can sprout some bell peppers. All right, so here's the extra space in the bed that we're going to take advantage of, and you'll see a lot of weeds have taken over. A lot of these things are weeds. I do have a few things I'm going to save. So right here is kind of a row of kale. This nice basil plant is going to stay. These spinach are done, they're going to go. And all of this was lettuce that either the rabbits or the heat took care of. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get rid of the weeds. We can pull some by hand, which is okay. Get rid of those. And I also have this little garden hoe that I'll go through and I'll kind of chop up whatever weeds we can't pull out by hand. Once we get this all cleared out the way we want it, then we'll be planting some of the little pepper sprouts. All right, we're going to start by just pulling some of these bigger ones by hand and getting them out of the garden. You'll see I have a nice helper here today. After we do this, then we will take care of the other ones with the hoe. All right, so we went through by hand and we pulled out most of the bigger stuff, just pulled it up by the roots and tossed it out, and we're left with some of this little grass. And I'm just going to go through here and really take this little hoe to everything and chop up the rest and get ready for the peppers. Okay, so my helper and I went through and pulled up the weeds and chopped up what we couldn't get out with our little garden hoe here. Chop that all up nice, and the next stage is to pick out the strongest looking of these little bell pepper sprouts, and we're going to plant some of those in this bed. We're kind of trying to beat the rain here, so we're going to work quick. So we just dump these out and kind of gently dump these out of the pot where they'd sprouted, and we're very gently separating them and looking for the biggest ones to plant. Okay, so we got that all taken care of. We planted 2, 4, 6, 8 bell pepper plants. We had our supervisor here helping us today, and we got them spaced out about 18 inches apart. We're hoping that these plants grow and bush out and we have some nice bell peppers. Along the way, we found a little bit of end of the season lettuce that we'll make use of somehow. And we even did a secret experiment that maybe I'll tell you about later. One thing I forgot to mention is that since we have all this nice open soil, that's just going to fill back up with weeds. So in the next couple days, I'm going to rake up some of the pine straw mulch just from back here behind the house, and we'll mulch the garden with that, hopefully beat the weeds and hopefully help keep our plants weed free and moist. Okay, so we got the peppers in the ground. The storm we were trying to beat to get things planted never came, so I gave everything a good soak. We got the bell pepper plants in, and now it's just going to be crossing our fingers, hoping they do well, and later this year, maybe have some good bell peppers. Okay, this is the next morning, and our little pepper plants are doing nicely. I think they're off to a good start.